Hey oil campers, my name is Sienna and I'm here today to talk to you about nutrition overview. So just a little bit about myself. I have a background in nutrition and dietetics. I'm a registered dietitian, and so I'm so glad that I get the chance to talk to you guys about this topic tonight. It's one that's clearly near and dear to my heart. It's one that I work with on a regular basis, and I'm really excited to try to clear up a couple misconceptions and just get down to the root of things. Nutrition can get really confusing. Even for me as a nutrition professional, there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internets and in blog sites and all sorts of different ideas and ideologies that you never quite know which way is up with some of the nutrition information. So today my goal and intention is just to clear up some of those misconceptions and work with you guys to find out at the base and the basics what good nutrition means. So let's just get started by clearing up a few things. Good nutrition does not have to be about bland or expensive or complicated things, and it's definitely not something we should punish ourselves or think of what we should be doing or should be eating. I have this quote from a yoga teacher that she said in the middle of a yoga class that she said, just stop shoulding all over yourselves. And as funny as it sounds, it made me laugh at the time and it still makes me smile and giggle today. It's true, we need to stop shoulding all over ourselves, and especially when it comes to food and nutrition. Guilt and shame, self-loathing, they're just not feelings that feel good inside. And when we're trying to make healthy decisions and healthy habits, we don't want to take those with us. Instead, we want to replace them with love and acceptance and understanding. And I find that when I know the basics and I understand the basics of what I'm trying to do, in this case nutrition, it helps me to get rid of some of that bad feelings and bad connotations and instead focus on the good. So we're talking about making positive changes in this Oil Camp 2.0, and so we want to talk about the positive things about good nutrition. So why is nutrition so important? I mean, there's a lot of reasons, right? But why is nutrition the base of the wellness pyramid in doTERRA? So I'm sure all of you have seen the pyramid at doTERRA. It talks about these healthy habits and healthy lifestyle habits that build the foundation for a healthy, vibrant life. And nutrition is right at the bottom, the base of that pyramid. Nutrition does not only include the foods that we eat, but it's a bigger picture. It's the water intake, the way we move our body, the supplements we take. But the cool thing about nutrition is it's something we do and can contribute to every day. We eat every single day, multiple times a day. For some people, that means 2 times a day. Some people, that means 6 or 7 times a day. So it's something that we can contribute to and affect multiple times every single day of our lives. There's a quote by Ann Wigmore that says, "The food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine, or it can be the slowest form of poison." It's a little harsh, I know, but take a second to let that sit with you and resonate with you. Every choice you make, every meal, every snack, every drink and beverage that you consume, they can either contribute to your well-being or they can contribute to your ill-being. And when we think of food in that way, it can help us to make smart and informed decisions, but also make decisions out of self-respect and self-love. Food is fuel, and that's it. And our society wants us to believe differently. Our society tells us that we should eat and drink for happy times and celebrations like birthdays and anniversaries and job promotions. It tells us that it's okay to indulge and eat in times of stress or sadness, for comfort. It tells us to eat just for connection, to share a meal with a friend or your family. But at the core of it, food is just fuel. And sometimes when we break it down to that basic level, that food is fuel and not happiness and not comfort and isn't there to fill you up and suppress those feelings, it kind of gives us some power to take charge of what we're eating. We are completely in control of what we put into our mouth, and we are completely in control of what we eat, however many times a day we eat. And that can be really awesome. For some people, it can feel intimidating and scary, but if we flip it around and instead get empowered by that idea that we are in control, it can help us when other aspects of our lives feel very out of control. If you've ever been through sickness before, I work in a hospital, so I see this a lot. Our patients who are there are quite sick and may come in and feel very out of control. They feel like they can't control their medicines that they're on, or maybe their therapy schedule, or when their next surgery is. But even when all of that craziness is going on in a stressful time such as illness, you're still in control of fueling your body with good food. And we want to put good and nutritious food and wholesome food into our body at any chance that we can, so that we can really be in charge and change our health. There are hundreds of different ways to eat. I'm sure you guys have been bombarded with messages about paleo and vegan and raw vegan and ketogenic diet and the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet and the Weight Watchers and this and that. It doesn't mean any of them are right or any of them are wrong. I firmly believe that every body is different and every body needs different things. So what works for your neighbor might not work very well for you. But what's important is that you pick one of them and you stick with it. Just pick it and go with it. Just run with it. If it's working and you like how your body feels and it's something that sustains you and gives you that fuel, remember, food is fuel, just stick with it. Even though there are a ton of different ideologies, we can all agree on some basics. And some of those are that we need lean proteins, we need smart carbs, good fats, and lots of fresh produce, along with some really good hydration and good supplementation. We can also agree on some of the things that we need less of, like processed or prepackaged foods, simple carbs, including sugar, or white breads and white pastas. Some of those things that we can kind of push to the side. Now, I want to make it clear that it doesn't mean those foods are bad and other foods are good. What I do like to say is that there's good, better, and best. We're not always going to make the best choice. We're not always probably even going to make the good choice. But what's important is that most of the time, we're making those best choices. So it doesn't mean you can never indulge in your favorite ice cream or pizza. But what it means is that we want to start crowding out some of those foods that don't fuel us and sustain us with foods that will. And the more you can put in the fresh produce, lean meats, good fats, the easier it is to crowd out some of those less healthy options. So it doesn't mean they don't have places at the table, it just means they shouldn't be there at every meal every day. I want to invite you to take an inventory with me. And this is a training tool that comes from Tiffany Peterson. She's a wonderful success and sales coach. And I want you to follow along with me. I'm going to be referring to my notes for this because I don't have all of this memorized. But I want you to go to Post 4 and download your Oil Camp 2 workbook. You're going to just love this tool. It's really helped me break through some barriers, especially limiting beliefs and barriers around nutrition and food. So today we're focusing on nutrition, but we'll come back to this concept of self-inventory throughout the camp. So keep this workbook in a handy place so that you can have it for future use. I want to ask you just a few questions, and I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest and 1 being you have a lot of work to do. This shouldn't be a negative experience. Remember, we're not dealing with any negative type feelings. I'm just asking you to simply observe and become a little self-aware of how you're feeling right now when I ask you these questions. We're gonna look at the last 30 days to use that as a time frame. So don't think about these questions in terms of the last 5 years, just let's do a month before. Question number 1. How are you feeling about your overall nutrition, ranked on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you eating well the majority of the time, or are unhealthy options making up the bulk of your diet? So just quickly jot down scale of 1 to 10. Remember, no judgments. And now question number 2. How has your overall water intake or hydration level been? Are you trying to get at least 8 cups of fluid a day? Remember, no judgments, just ranking on a scale of 1 to 10. Question number 3. Do you find that you are drawn to eat healthy food? How do you feel about eating healthy food? Are you repulsed by them? Do you really like them? Remember, no judgments. It doesn't mean you have to be at a 10 right now or ever. And the last question, question number 4. How do you feel about your fresh produce consumption? Are vegetables a one-hit wonder, or are they at the top of your Billboard charts? Okay, now that we've all had a minute to do that, just keep this paper with you. And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I know when some people can ask you these leading type questions, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, like I'm not good enough, or so-and-so's doing it better than me, or I should be doing better. Remember, we're not shoulding on ourselves anymore. Instead, I just want you to think about what it would feel like to improve just a little bit. So maybe if your hydration level is perhaps at a 3, you're not someone that likes to drink water frequently, you know that you aren't maybe meeting that 8 cups a day, how would it feel to move it up to a 5? So maybe 8 cups just seems outrageous to you. But what about moving it up 1 extra cup a day? How would that feel? It doesn't have to be anything crazy. And when you take those small baby steps, instead of it feeling overwhelming, it feels like, I can do that. That's doable. And that's what we're aiming for here. Remember, love and understanding are your companions on this journey, not judgment. So I know that's hard, especially in regards to food, but remember that as we go through this journey. You'll notice in the workbook that there's lots of space in each quadrant to write down your thoughts. So choose a number to express where you're at right now, and then use the space to write some ideas on how you think you can move that number up, even just by 1. I'm not asking you to commit to do all of these things right away, but all we're doing here is taking inventory. So as we move along, you can look back and see where you've made some progress or where maybe might need a little bit extra attention. For today, I'm just going to leave you with one last thought from a woman named Tara Stiles. She says, eat like you love yourself, move like you love yourself, speak like you love yourself, act like you love yourself. Isn't that just beautiful? So I want you guys to take that with you as we embark on this Oil Camp 2.0 and just with you for the rest of your lives. Let's keep working together, and I know we can make some positive lifestyle changes. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.